Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. On this video, we're going to be working on a new chicken coop. I've built this one behind me here previously about 2-3 years ago, and we currently have 10 chickens in it, and it's got a fenced-in run. And what we're going to be doing now is getting some new chicks. We got 12 more coming, and instead of introducing them to these, we're going to be starting another chicken coop. But instead of this kind of A-frame, kind of standard coop, we're going to be building a round chicken coop this time. Kind of like a turret, kind of on a castle or something like that. No real reason, just for the challenge of it. Hadn't seen one before, and I just thought it would look neat. So, so we're gonna get started on doing that. And first, I'm gonna show you the place where we're gonna be putting this coop, and then, you know, just diving in. So let's get started. All right, so after I cleared out all the brush, I was able to level out the soil and then compact it with a sledgehammer, just something that I had just to compact the initial top layer of dirt. It's gonna compress a little bit when we put the blocks on it and build the house on top of it. So they kind of get some of that initial kind of compression done before you build it, and it can kind of get crooked as the years go on. So so that was good. I'm gonna go get the retaining wall blocks. They're quite heavy. They're about 90 pounds or so a piece. They're like an 8-inch tall retaining wall block, and we're just gonna use it as a circle around this. And it's gonna take me quite a long time to get those over here. They're pretty heavy. I don't have any help today, and I need to go do some stretching or something just to kind of save my back. But anyway, we're gonna go do that, bring them over here, and I'll show you kind of what that layout looks like. All right, so you saw me grab 6 of those blocks. I'm taking a little bit of a break because it's killer on my back. And I'm gonna go ahead and start laying these out and then get the rest. I'm gonna start making this circle by driving a stake in the middle, tying a knot on the end of this rope, and this is gonna be where the corners of all the blocks are gonna hit on going around the circle. So I'm gonna drive this into the center, and then we'll start placing blocks and seeing where this comes out. Trying to make like a band around the outside with this thin piece of wood. Yep. It doesn't want to bend. No, see, I'm just pulling it out. Yeah, we're gonna have to do something different.
Are you gonna, did you steam it?
Yep, but it still didn't. All right, so it was quite a struggle to get this outer band attached. Probably saw a lot of the wood was breaking, and another learning experience with bending wood. I thought I could just bend it, and if I just cut it thin enough, it would bend fairly easily. And it was about 5/8 thick, and it still was kind of stiff. But then, like those knots really come into play when it's really thin like that. It kind of just breaks really easily. So I ended up just kind of piecing it together, and I'm going to show you some like pieces here. So this one, it kind of came together, you know, where there's no backing to it. So my plan is to kind of glue this for now, then screw these in, and then I'm going to screw it from the top. Okay, so I wanted to talk about how I'm going to get all of the bottom plate done and the studs, and figure out how I'm going to do that. I wanted to kind of show you guys how I did some math. Went back to, you know, some middle school geometry again. So so we'll kind of walk through this so it can maybe help you out when you're doing your project. My coop here is 76 inches diameter, and you multiply that times pi to get the circumference, which is 238.6 inches. So that's the distance around the edge of the coop. And so I'm going to divide that into, you know, how many sides I'm going to need, how many little straight pieces I'm going to need to go around the coop. And so instead of bending some boards, we're just going to cut short pieces of wood. And so I'm going to, after that circumference, I'm going to be subtracting out a 2-foot wide door. So that's 24 inches, because I want to make that 24 inches so I can, you know, fit through it. And then you have, that reduces their circumference by that. This is the remaining distance left. And I'd like to have it a 16-inch span between the studs, because that just makes for a nice even number at 4 foot. And so I can put some plywood around the edges pretty easily. So you have the you know, the 214 inches left. Divide that by 16 inches, and that's the length between the studs. That's like the distance there that I need to span, and that equals about 13 studs and bases. And so that determines how many, you know, it's pretty close to an even number, so that gets me nice even numbers around. I think the last one may have to be a little bit longer. So now I want to determine, so now I know how many numbers of little short pieces I'm going to have around the edges. I want to know what kind of angle I need to cut that at to make that fit nice. So I need 13 of them. I'm adding the one for the door. So that's a 14-sided chicken coop, you know, basically. So 14-sided chicken coop. So what's the angle between them? And so you take 360 degrees, because that's a complete circle. Divide that by the number of sides you get, and that's 25.7 degrees is the angle in that, you know, between the two sides. And since I'm cutting a board to go on each one, I'm gonna cut that in half. So 25.7 divided by 2 boards is 12.8 degrees is what I need to cut. So I'll make that 13 or so. So anyway, so that gives you an idea of how I came up with converting that circle into a 14-sided polygon that I'm going to be making the studs out of. So here I'm going to zoom out so you can see I actually already cut them all. So this one right here is the door. So this is the 2 foot wide, and then all the different sides going around it is 14. And this little darker board over here is the last one, and it was a little bit longer. It's about 1 inch longer than 16 inches. So now you can see that the cuts were okay. They kind of lined up pretty good. I think I ended up cutting them like 13 or 14 degrees on each one. So they lined up pretty good. And I'm spacing the part where they meet on the outside. So that matches the outside, and so that plywood is going to go over everything. It's going to go over the stud, the bottom plate, and to this bent piece that we attached earlier. So it's going to cover everything, so you won't see all these different layers from the outside. So this gives us something to connect the plywood to the stud here, the bottom plate, and this curved piece if I wanted to as well. Hold on, don't bend it yet. Come out so wide first, and then we're gonna get it all the way to the top. Not too easy. All right. Start pulling, sealing it in. Like you have to cut off that. No, it'll bend. Right. Okay. I already feel it cracking.
Pick some blackberries. Tell me if you need me.
All right. Build the nesting boxes right now.
Nesting box?
Yep, so I'm gonna put the bottom somewhere like this. And I think it's gonna be, they're gonna hop up from the ground and come up inside. Right now it's 12 inches tall.
Not that high.
Not that high? A little lower?
Yeah.
Alright. Let's do it.
About
It's gonna be about 10 inches high.
maybe.
Because they just got to jump up from there, from the inside, you know? So don't have to go too far.
Yeah, that's good.
Alright, so we're gonna put one screw in this
Did you
side.
put it a little lower?
Yep.
Yeah, you got that. I'll take you.
Alright, here, you're gonna do this.
I can screw it.
Yep, you gotta use both hands. Push on it. Alright, that's good, that's good, that's good. Stop. Alright, let's do the other side. Come on over here. You can come inside the coop. Alright, so we gotta make it level. See, I put a
It's just the same floor we went in there. It's just the leftovers from when we went in there.
What, the flooring?
Yeah.
No, it's new.
Because you got the just same kind.
Yep.
Daddy,
The chickens like the same, they like that flooring.
Daddy, it looks like wood, but it's not.
Alright, see how I have to get it level? See with the bubble in the middle?
Yeah.
Is it in the middle?
Yep.
Alright,
Daddy.
and the screw's not the right place anymore. Alright, so I'm gonna start this one. You wanna finish it?
Yeah.
Alright, hold on, let me go down.
Daddy, it looks like
All right.
wood, but it's not. Let me get outside. It looks like wood.
Oh, we'll
but
get off level. Okay.
It went off level?
You pull the trigger. Alright, let go. Alright, there you go.
I got it right in the...
Alright, so now we gotta build the top one. Okay, so now I've come around to where the next nesting box is, and it's gonna be sticking out the side of the coop, and that's kind of hard because this is gonna be square attached to a round cylinder here. And so my plan is to have it kind of inset into the wall, so that wall will come over the top of the roof part, the slanted part of the nesting box. And so by doing that, that water that would hit the side wall would hit the roof and come down. And I'm gonna do it different than my other coop where the roof kind of comes up and you get the eggs down inside. This is gonna open it up sideways and you reach in and grab the eggs. So basically what I did to do the nesting box, I just, instead of putting a stud right here where it should be, I just left it out. And so I'm gonna basically make two of these spaces in between studs. Then, like, I'm gonna have two nesting boxes. I have 12 chickens and 2 boxes should be okay. I'm assuming I have 10 in my other coop and I have 4 nesting boxes, but they all use the same one. So I don't know what that's all about, but so I'm gonna try 2. And so what I'm gonna do here is I still need to have a stud above and below the box to give the wood, you know, the siding something to attach to and to keep that curve. If it didn't, it would have this kind of flat spot in. So I'm gonna take measurements and cut this chunk out of this stud, and then might add some more angled pieces to kind of help get that wrapped around this corner, and I actually give something to nail to like extend the box out. Okay, so for this siding we're doing for the chicken coop, I'm using 11/32 siding with the 4-inch strips in it, the grooves in it. And that 11/32 is probably the thickest I would do. It takes a little bit of force to kind of get it around the curve for this narrow of a curve. So it's, you know, a 6 foot 4 inches diameter. So if you have a wider diameter, maybe you can go with a little bit thicker siding if you wanted. But if you go any narrower, I believe that 11/32 might be too much to kind of get that curve in. There's a little bit of popping and cracking as I get it around. All right, so now that the main cylinder of the coop is done, I'm gonna be working on the roof. And I took my wife over here to try to figure out how steep we want to make the cone. You know, if it gets kind of a flatter look, it looks more like a silo. and more steeper. It looks, you know, like castle-like, turret-like. So right now it sticks up 4 feet. That's kind of mocked it up here with some clamps and stuff. And that's the longest board I had, just kind of laying around. So it's not quite tall enough. So that's the peak is 4 feet above the rim of the coop there, and I don't think that's enough. I think I'm going to make it 5 feet. So the whole cylinder is almost 6 foot, and so with the cone, it's almost like doubling the height, maybe a little bit less than double the height. So anyway, that's kind of the dimension I got now, and now I'm going to start to build that cone part just with cutting a bunch of wood, and we'll be building that roof structure and then putting the tin on it. But I think we're going to make that on another video. This is quite a lot at the beginning, just all of the beginning stages, putting the blocks down, the flooring, the walls, things like that. I'm just going to treat that as one video, and then we're going to have another video with the roof and maybe the finishing touches, things like that. But I hope you like this video. Hope this helps you out in your chicken coop build. This was quite a challenge so far with this round coop, but I think it's coming along pretty good. So appreciate you sticking around. If you would like this video, and stay tuned for part 2.